I haven't spent as much time shiny hunting on Scarlet and Violet as I originally planned to, so I decided the only logical way to change that is to spend 24 hours doing outbreaks. And to up the stakes a little bit, I decided if I can't find 20 shinies in that time, I'll release every other shiny Pokemon I find. Sound good? Well, let's get started then. I decided to start off with a titan among Pokemon, Psyduck. Now I didn't know what to expect for my first hunt of the video, but after an easy 25 minutes, I found the blue duck with an easy hunt getting the video underway. Next I was off to the snow to hunt for a shiny I've never found before, Frostlass. Not only is it a cool shiny, but a very welcoming Pokemon. I mean, who doesn't want to be a frozen decoration? Anyway, I was hoping to keep up my good momentum, but an hour later I still had nothing to show for it, until suddenly, my shiny, Abomasnow. Yeah, I guess Abomasnow is pretty cool, right? Right? At this point I was getting a little worried because of one small mistake I made. Outbreaks reset at the end of every day, and I kinda forgot to change mine before searching for it, so I was only 30 minutes away from the day changing over and losing the outbreak. But with luck on my side, and 20 minutes left until the reset, a shiny Frostlass, netting me my third shiny in just under 2 hours. My next hunt was for Varoom, but here I encountered some more problems. It's a pain even getting to 60 knockouts because of how frantically they move around, and even after you do, that's not the end of your troubles. Varooms look shiny when in the sunlight, and even sometimes at night, so you've got to pay attention to each and every one. Like, is this shiny? No. How about this one? Still no. What about that one? Oh. I guess that one is shiny. So with one gold steel type shiny, it felt right going for another. Moving on to Magnemite. Now my luck had been good so far, but clearly going for another gold shiny was the right move. Without even knocking out all 60 Magnemite, I stumbled upon this little guy, less than 10 minutes after catching the Varoom. Next up I started a hunt for a Pokemon I've wanted for a while, Rotom. I think it has a really cool shiny, so I was pretty excited to find it, but it ended up being a different Pokemon to shine first, a wild Drifloon. But in my excitement trying to get some cool visuals, I accidentally despawned it and had to start my hunt right over. Nah, I'm lying. I saved before that happened, so I just reset the game. You'll never catch me failing a shiny in these games. And not long after that, my luck kept going, and what I think is one of the best shinies in the game was mine. Moving on to my next hunt, I decided on a shiny I didn't really care about before Scarlet and Violet, Forretress. But before I explain why my opinion changed, let me quickly showcase my stupid luck continuing, finding my shiny Forretress only 2 minutes after knocking out all 60. Now that we've done that, just compare this beautiful metallic ball to this bland looking one presented to us in previous generations. But how about we speedrun through some shinies now? Arcanine was my next hunt, and as seems to be the trend of this video, it was another quick and easy hunt. Then I moved my attention over to Rockruff, another Pokemon I considered to be one of the best shinies in the game, and it posed more of a challenge than most of the other hunts so far. An hour and a half later I was still hunting, but eventually, my 10th shiny of the video was found. My next hunt was the most annoying so far, Clorf. The outbreak would only spawn 3 or 4 every time I ran past, so it ended up being pretty lengthy. Not only that, but it didn't even end up being the shiny I found first, after I almost ran past a Pokemon that's given me a painful hunt in the past, Nimble. In total I spent almost 4 hours hunting for shiny Clorf, but when the shiny looks this good, it's a sacrifice I'm very willing to make. Catching shiny number 12 of the video in just over 10 hours, well on track for 20 despite a rocky hunt. I then moved on to one of my new favourite Pokemon, Paldean Tauros, which has what I consider to be a pretty cool shiny. One thing I said in my first Scarlet and Violet video is that there is one horde of Pokemon I always check for a shiny in, where I finally found a shiny this time, Dealing. I don't know if it's because of the black and white nostalgia, but it's easily one of my favourite Pokemon and favourite shinies ever. Anyway, I made the same stupid mistake I made with the Frostlass outbreak, where my clock was too close to ticking over when I started it, and this time I didn't have luck on my side, so I had to move on to a new outbreak, and I chose Gyarados. After knocking out all 60, there was still a ton spawning, so I was feeling a quick shiny coming, and I was not wrong. Only 2 minutes later... yeah... I mean, not exactly what I was hoping for, but a shiny's a shiny at the end of the day, and it put me one closer to 20, sitting at 14 with 12 hours left. But little did I know at the time, this would end up being my longest hunt for the entire video. I ran around, then I ran around some more, and then I kept doing that for 3 hours, but nothing. But finally, one of the strongest, most desired Pokemon ever, with one of the most iconic shinies of all time, finally showed up. But here I encountered a little problem. Hoppip learns Memento at level 38, which KOs the Pokemon, and this Hoppip is level 48, so of course the first thing it wanted to do was use Memento. But don't stress it. Of course I saved beforehand, so it should be somewhere around here. Or not, because for some reason it decided to not respawn. You'll never catch me failing a shiny in these games. Yeah, that was a bad call. And to make me feel even more stupid, for some reason I thought closing the game broke my Gyarados knockout streak. So I moved on to a different hunt and wasted over 3 hours of my time for a stupid bird and a failed shiny. This is even more confusing when I realised later that I continued the Rotom hunt normally after closing the game. So honestly, no clue what I was doing here. I decided to move on to a Cyclizar outbreak next, but that was a terrible decision. They were annoying to knock out, and I had my Kingambit working overtime to even get to 60. But luckily for me, after that, it was a pretty quick hunt. But before I encounter the shiny, let's play a little game here. Do you think I A. encounter the shiny straight away, B. save and then encounter the shiny, C. go for a little fun run with the shiny, or D. save the game and then go for the fun run? Well, if you guessed any of those, you would be absolutely wrong, because instead I did this. Yep, I genuinely have no clue what was going through my head, which you can clearly see by my complete confusion here. But that's not the end of it, because the weirdest part of all of this is only a minute later, I stumbled across my second wild shiny dealing of the video. And that was exactly what I needed to push on for 2 more hours to reclaim what should have been the easiest shiny of my life, and I wasn't taking any chances this time. So after reclaiming one shiny, it was time to reclaim another I didn't necessarily fail, but lost the chance of catching. I found a new Gyarados outbreak and restarted my hunt, and luckily this time it was pretty easy and took less than 30 minutes. So now that I only needed 3 shinies to hit my target with a bit over 6 hours left, I laid out some targets, starting with Tauros. I failed to catch it earlier in the video, and I like the shiny, so it felt like a no-brainer. Next was Eevee. It also has a cool shiny, and I want to have a shiny for each of the evolutions, so I wanted to catch at least 1 or 2 in the time I had left. And the final target was Toedscool. And the reason why? Legs. And luckily for me, my boy Legs was there after the first outbreak reset. So I moved on to that hunt. And to keep the luck going, it was a quick and easy hunt, finding my shiny Toedscool after only... These fake outs getting anyone? No? Well, that's okay, because with that I'm up to 18 shinies and getting even closer to not having to release any of them. And even better than all that, legs. The balance in the universe restored. Next up, I reset my outbreaks until I had a Tauros outbreak available, which was my next hunt. And consistent with how good my luck had been so far, my lack of awareness remained too, because I somehow managed to not record myself finding or catching the shiny. So, surprise! So after catching my 20th shiny of the video, I moved on to a Pokemon that I honestly kinda didn't know the name of until I started hunting it, Grafaiai. I mean, no hate to it, it's just kinda there, doing its own thing. Anyway, I guess I got punished for disrespecting such a holy Pokemon, because it was not an enjoyable hunt at all. The game performance in Tagtree Thicket is an experience I wouldn't wish upon my worst enemy, and of course it ended up being almost my longest hunt of the video, only beat out by the blue crab. I mean, I found this little guy, so I mean, that was pretty cool, I guess. But finally, after almost 4 hours, there it was. Kind of underwhelming, but honestly anything to get out of this place. So I was off to what was going to be my final outbreak of the video, even if it meant a couple duplicates, finishing it off with an absolute bang, just like I started, Combee. And honestly, it was looking like I'd used up all my luck for the video with only 15 minutes left, but I found one of the cooler shinies of the video, because I found a shiny female Combee which is only a 12% chance of spawning compared to the males, so that's pretty cool. 5 minutes left, and I'd say that's a pretty successful challenge. 23 shinies in 24 hours is some crazy luck, and... oh. 24 shinies in 24 hours is some crazy luck. Thanks for watching. It was a super fun video catching this many shinies, so I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Catch you next time. Take care.